Michelle, she should change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. Not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, SOT 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy. Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
Baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
No, I would have felt for him.
Michelle Obama is being called out for always sounding negative. Some people now say she never says anything positive not about kids, family, or even her husband Barack. Recently, she made headlines again when she said she was glad she didn't have a son, joking that he would have been a baby Barack. She said she would have felt sorry for him. Megyn Kelly didn't hold back when reacting to Michelle.
Speaking of people who continue to play the victim even though they're not, here is today's daily dose of Michelle Obama, who has been out there trying to promote her terrible podcast that has absolutely no fan following. And she decided everything she says and does is a complaint. Everything. And so she winds up talking to Tina Knowles, also better known as Beyonce's mother, about marriage and divorce, which is Michelle's favorite topic, one of them at least. Number one is how much she hates her time as first lady. She hated it. And number two, I mean, you could go either way, how racist the country is and how much she can't stand it. And then we're coming in, at least in the top three, is her negative comments about her husband and her
recent comments. She tore apart Michelle's image, saying it's fake and full of complaints. According to her, Michelle always talks about how tough and unfair everything is. Whether it's being the first lady, the state of the country, or her marriage, she always...
From the Barack Michelle Obama appearance, the podcast, because everybody thinks they're getting a divorce, and let's face it, they probably are. She dragged him onto her show with brother Craig, and the following took place. Here's how it started in SOT 36.
Barack Obama, can you join us?
Seems unhappy. Michelle has also been trying to promote her podcast, but critics say it's not popular and mostly filled with her complaining about things. She recently spoke with Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, and brought up divorce and marriage. Megyn Kelly pointed out how often Michelle talks...
Oh, I genuinely think she meant what she said. Oh, God, I'd have another Barack Obama on my hands. And who the hell wants that? I mean, we kind of can relate, but whatever. It's fine. It's different. We're the general public. But it was so funny. Like, I'll show the audience one other thing. Yesterday we had on Ruthless, and Josh Holmes was saying you should show some outtakes because we showed a tease. I'm like, you know what? We should show some outtakes. So they cut a couple of you and me when we were sitting there, and just how funny it was because she's so absurd. We had no idea she was this negative a person.
Negatively about her marriage and past, especially her time in the White House. People once saw Michelle Obama as inspiring, but now critics are saying she's more about drama than honesty. Megyn joked that Michelle acts like a queen, high above everyone else, and that the media always praises her no matter what she says.
Work and going to therapy and just figuring out, like, what happened those 8 years we were in the White House?
What happened that 8 years?
What did that do to me internally, my soul?
No one talks about this.
No, they don't.
We made it through.
We got out alive.
I hope we made the country proud.
My girls are whole.
But what happened to me?
What happened to me?
But when someone actually questions her or looks deeper, things start to fall apart. Michelle recently pulled her husband Barack and her brother Craig onto her podcast, which some believe was her trying to fix rumors about her marriage falling apart. But instead of helping...
When she talks about, like, her time in the White House, Barack running, it's all negative on this new podcast. I mean, it's exactly what we thought. It's very clear she hated being First Lady. She hated being in Washington. She doesn't like the fact that Barack was president. I mean, she just has nothing but negative things to say. Here's just one small, she doesn't like openly get, caustic, but she makes it pretty clear that
the appearance just gave more fuel to critics who say Michelle sounds unhappy and distant, Even her emotional comments, like wondering what those 8 years in the White House did to her soul, being questioned. People say instead of focusing on how proud she should be, she just complains about how hard it all was. In the end, many feel that Michelle Obama is trying to look too perfect on the outside while quietly criticizing everything behind the scenes. She says she's not into politics anymore, but everything she does still seems very political. Like she might be preparing for something big again. Michelle Obama is acting like an artist making a comeback after being gone for 10 years, but no one's really interested. People are still tired from her first performance. Megyn Kelly isn't falling for it. She doesn't believe Michelle's fake humbleness, her fancy education background, or the way she talks about her hard childhood. Michelle often talks about her struggles, but they include going to Ivy League schools, top internships, and a perfect resume. It's hard to feel sorry.
This woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about anything. And the latest example was when she went on this other guy's podcast, Jay Shetty. She goes and sits down with him, and he asks her, what are you afraid of? And she starts off by saying, well, it's not, my fears aren't for me. You know, I think about the streets. My fears aren't for me.
Well, in this current climate, for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants.
I mean, I travel in a 4-car motorcade.
Sorry for someone sipping organic tea in $1 million house while telling average people about her tough life. Her stories sound like someone searched regular people problems on Google and gave her a script. Saying she forgot her lunch once or wore braces isn't the same as real. Struggles like choosing between rent and food, while normal people deal with serious issues. Michelle gives advice on self-care from a luxury chair that costs more than most people's monthly income. Megyn Kelly responded to Michelle's sad stories with a straight face, clearly not buying them. She's saying that at some point, people stop.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy. Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
You catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him. She can't.
Wait a minute. Now I like her. She prevented another Barack in the world. The Iranian regime quakes. We could have had another shot.
Stop believing fairy tales, especially when everyone knows the castle is worth millions. Michelle is always feeling sorry for herself. On her podcast, she's either complaining about Barack Obama, criticizing the country, or talking about how hard her life is. One recent example is when she went on Jay Shetty's podcast. He asked her what she's afraid of. She responded that she's not scared for herself, but for what's happening in the world. But that's hard to take seriously when she travels with 4 security cars around her. Then there's her fashion. Michelle shows up to charity events dressed like she's going to a celebrity fashion show. She talks about being humble while wearing clothes that cost more than a semester at college. Megyn Kelly points out that Michelle doesn't just want attention. She wants people to cheer and agree with her no matter what she says. When someone criticizes her, Michelle changes the topic and makes it about how the world just can't handle her truth. It's her way of avoiding real feedback.
I love the way you talk about the need to get your independence, because your marriage wasn't always what it should have been.
Right.
Okay, so she's going right in, like, independence is what it's about. Of course, you had a shitty marriage. I can totally relate. And then can I just show you one more? Look at SOT 23. No, I'm sorry. It's the VO6, where the two of them get up and they start dancing. And this is part of the Michelle Obama attempted reinvention. I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. to make herself into something cool. Here she is again, make herself into something cool, Walter, that like we can relate to. She's a cool girl because she was first lady, and yet she can get up there and dance with Beyonce's mom. I'm sorry, but all I can think is you hate the country.
Plays the victim whenever someone challenges her recently. Michelle said she was glad she didn't have a son because he'd be like Barack Obama, and she would feel bad for him. People were shocked. She basically said she borrowed other people's boys. Sounded cold and strange, especially coming from someone who's always talking about family and values, Michelle. Obama made it clear she can't stand her husband Barack. Some people joked they like her now just because she saved the world from another Barack. It's all become a bit of a performance with her some emotional moments. Reminders of her humble beginnings and how she never wanted fame. Yet, she's been on more magazine covers than actual world leaders. She says she doesn't like the drama of politics. But she sure knows how to stir it up while constantly praising herself. She calls herself a unifier, but everything she says feels more like she's looking down on people. Her old message of hope has turned into lectures that make others feel like they're not smart enough to understand.
There will be parental pain. We have to become tougher for the sake of our kids. And I just don't think that there's any way around making this easy for parents. And I think that's what we...
Parenting is never easy.
It's not supposed to be. And it's not fun. Life isn't fair. And that's another lesson for kids to learn.
That's right.
It's not fun. It's painful having children. It's not fun.
And she wonders why, as she told Amy Poehler, her daughters run the other way when she opens her mouth to offer what is surely unsolicited advice.
Like, I look back on my own experience with my kids. Yeah, it's hard when they're very little. It's a lot more hard work than, now my kids are 15, 14, and almost 12. But it's still fun. They're so cute. I don't know a mother who would look back at years 1 through 13 and say, it's gonna be bad. Those 13 years, they're bad. The kids are a hassle. And then doubles down here saying parenting is not fun, it's painful.
Her greatness, Megyn. Kelly didn't need to shout or insult her. She calmly tore down the image Michelle tries to sell, piece by piece. And suddenly, all that glamorous style and powerful image looked fake. Just another brand built on buzzwords and repeated slogans. Michelle's strategy is familiar. Play the victim to avoid blame, toss out some vague feel-good quotes, and remind people of the good old days. Remember her White House garden? Sounds sweet until you realize her personal chef picked the vegetables and her PR team planned the photo ops. She talks about needing independence because her marriage wasn't always great, and some people might relate. But then she goes on dancing at events with Beyonce's mom, trying to seem cool and relatable again.
Like, I look back on my own experience with my kids. Yeah, it's hard when they're very little. It's a lot more hard work than, now my kids are 15, 14, and almost 12. But it's still fun. They're so cute. I don't know a mother who would look back at years 1 through 13 and say, it's gonna be bad. Those 13 years, they're bad. The kids are a hassle. And then doubles down here saying parenting is not fun, it's painful.
Megyn wasn't impressed. Sod for what it is, a carefully planned image boost. And for someone who claims to love the country, Michelle sure sounds like someone who DOESN, single quotes, befoids hard questions. When challenged, she switches to vague motivational talk about raising strong daughters or going through life's journey. Every critique becomes an attack on women. That way, anyone who questions her gets labeled a hater or ignorant. In her world, disagreeing with her is basically a sin. Megyn, she's the one who finally spoke up. Let's talk about Michelle's brand. She didn't just write a memoir, she built a full emotional franchise around herself. That book wasn't just a book hit, was like...
She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new, spin of complaints here. Here's one from her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got like 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing that now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it.
And the things were, there was a line of people waiting to shake hands with our respective husbands,
Okay.
you know, people like reaching over our heads and spilling water on us, trying to get to these two, you know, illustrious men.
And that's annoying because she's supposed to be the star. Michelle Obama. This dovetails perfectly with so many other comments she's made about how she is like, what about me?
Like a spiritual lifestyle project sponsored by luxury brands and self-help vibes. Each chapter felt wrapped in fancy packaging. Like vulnerability was something you bring out only during Netflix deals and book tours. There's a big difference between being real and paying someone to turn your morning. Exercise into a life-changing story that ends with a TED Talk and a green SMOOTHIE. Michelle often says things like, we have to be tougher for our kids or parenting isn't fun. She even said it's painful to have children. And then she wonders why, as she told Amy Poehler, her daughters run away when she tries to give advice. What mother says. Raising kids from ages 1 to 13 is just bad. Most moms would say it's hard, yes, but also special. And that's when Megyn stepped in.
Even knowing that there are divorce rumors and, you know, she's not showing up for him, whether it's at the Jimmy Carter funeral or the Trump inauguration or the basketball game he just went to in LA, when visiting their daughters and then dinner with the daughters was not there. Here she is talking about it. If it were me, I would say something nice about him. I would say like, he's just so charming. It was meant to be. I knew he could heal the earth in the way he did. There was only one person who could do it, and it was my husband, Barack Obama, whatever. Then she gets on to talking a little bit about him personally, and this is how that sounded.
When a girlfriend comes to visit, it's usually like, you got to stay for 2 days because it's going to take us
so much
2
time to
days
catch up
to check up. Now, Barack's come in, he's come out, and he's like, y'all still...
Not with hate or attacks, just with calm, common sense. She didn't need scandals or drama. Just asked, does this really make sense? And that was enough to shake Michelle's carefully built image. All those pretty words and inspiring phrases started to sound like fog. Megyn held up a mirror and it made Michelle's whole show start to wobble like a tower about to fall. Michelle Obama's style of speaking feels soft on the outside, but it hits with a strong sense of judgment. She doesn't argue loudly, she gives quiet, clever replies that sound nice, but often hide a sharp insult. The media treats it like it's powerful and inspiring, but most people are left wondering, wait, did she just insult someone while smiling?
The truth is, if you add it all up, even the year, if the odds were you're going to be married to your partner for 50 years, and 10 of those years could be bad.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
She talks about parenting. She says things that feel confusing or negative. She once said raising kids wasn't fun. It was painful. Most mothers wouldn't agree. But Michelle doubled down, saying it was hard and tiring, especially when her daughters were younger. Then came Megyn Kelly. She didn't